In the bustling heart of New York City, where life moved faster than the subway trains, lived a man named Robert. He was a postal worker, a job he had held for 25 years. Every morning, Robert put on his uniform, adjusted his cap, and stepped into the world that often overlooked him. To most, he was just another face in the crowd, a figure who delivered bills, packages, and holiday cards. But Robert carried something far more profound, a sense of purpose. One rainy morning, as he sorted through stacks of mail, he noticed an envelope with no return address and smudged handwriting. The recipient's name was legible, but the address was incomplete. Robert knew he should have set it aside for the undeliverable pile, but something about the envelope tugged at his heart. The paper felt fragile, as though it had been handled many times before being sent. Curious, Robert decided to investigate during his lunch break. He asked around his route, showing the envelope to anyone who might recognize the name. Hours turned into days, and finally, a woman at a corner cafe exclaimed, "That's for Mrs. Evelyn Parker. She used to live here, but she moved to where it all began one day at the bus stop." Sarah noticed a teenage girl sitting alone, clutching her backpack and crying. The girl's name was Lisa. Sarah approached her gently. "Hi, I'm Sarah. Are you waiting for the bus?" she asked. Lisa shook her head. After a few moments of hesitation, she opened up. Lisa had run away from home, unable to endure her parents' constant arguments. She had no money, no plan, and nowhere to go. Sarah couldn't just walk away. "I have a spare room at my house," she said. "If you want, you can stay for a few days while you figure things out." Lisa reluctantly agreed. Those few days turned into weeks. During that time, Sarah helped Lisa rebuild her confidence, rediscover her dreams, and even write a heartfelt letter to her parents. To everyone's surprise, her parents responded with an apology and an eagerness to mend their relationship. Lisa eventually returned home, and that could have been the end of the story, but for Sarah, it was just the beginning. A few months later, Sarah noticed her elderly neighbor, Mr. Johnson, struggling. A veteran who lived alone, Mr. Johnson could no longer keep up with yard work. Weeds overtook his garden, and the place looked abandoned. Sarah offered to help, but Mr. Johnson politely declined, saying he didn't want to be a bother. Sarah saw through his pride and decided to act. She gathered a group of her music students and organized a surprise cleanup. One Saturday morning, they showed up with rakes, brooms, and flowers. Mr. Johnson was moved to tears when he saw the kids working tirelessly in his yard. "You've done more than clean up my garden," he said with a trembling voice. "You've brought life back to my home." As time went on, the town faced a tough economic downturn. Businesses shut down, and many families struggled to make ends meet. Seeing her students affected, Sarah came up with a plan. She organized a charity music evening. Her students performed on stage, playing piano, violin, and guitar. Local artists and craftspeople sold their creations at a market Sarah arranged alongside the event. The concert raised money to support families in need and reminded the community of their strength and unity. One mother approached Sarah after the event, tears in her eyes. "Thank you," she said. "Because of this, my daughter can keep attending her music lessons." Sarah's acts of kindness sparked something extraordinary in the town. Lisa, inspired by her time with Sarah, became a social worker. She created a foundation to help troubled teenagers, often saying, "A woman once helped me when I was lost. Now it's my turn to do the same for others." Mr. Johnson, inspired by the children's efforts, began writing his memoirs, sharing his life stories with young people. His tales of resilience and courage became a source of inspiration for local students. The charity concert became an annual tradition, drawing more and more people each year. One day, Sarah received an unexpected invitation to a town celebration. She had no idea what it was for. When she arrived, she was greeted with applause. The mayor stood on stage and spoke. "Sarah, you've transformed our town. Your small, quiet acts of kindness have grown into a movement that has touched every one of us." Sarah couldn't hold back her tears. She had never thought of herself as special. She simply believed in helping where she could. But for everyone in the town, she was a true hero. This story reminds us that heroes don't always wear capes or seek the spotlight. Sometimes they are the ones who act with quiet kindness, inspiring others to do the same. Sarah's actions created a ripple effect, proving that even the smallest acts of goodwill can change the world. If each of us commits to one small act of kindness, imagine how much better the world could be.